It says, "Do you not remember that when I was still with you, I told you these things? And now you know what is restraining, that he may be revealed in his own time. For the mystery of lawlessness is already at work. Only he who now restrains will do so until he's taken out of the way." So, in Christianity, the most common doctrine is that it is talking about the Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh. Yet, that kind of doesn't make sense because the Ruach is omnipresent. So there's no way that it can be taken away from anywhere, for it is everywhere by nature, if we were to use that word, when it comes to the Ruach. Then they take it a bit farther and say that it is the church. So once the church is taken away, then the enemy will manifest. And that would be wrong also, because we see in Revelation 12 that Satan will fall from heaven to this earth, claiming to be the Messiah on the flesh, to claiming to be Christ, pretty much. And he will do that while the chosen few are going on the second Exodus that we see in a lot of parts in scriptures of the prophets and Messiah, when he said that when the abomination of desolation manifests, the chosen few must go to the mountains, must flee. So then while there, they will be harvested, as we see in Revelation 11, Revelation 12, and Revelation 14. So since we see that the abomination of desolation will manifest while the congregation is on earth, since the Messiah said that when you see the abomination of desolation, flee, then that means the congregation will see the abomination of desolation on this earth, at least when it is being manifest to the world. So that would mean that it is not the congregation, because the congregation would be on earth still for a few more days after the manifestation of the abomination of desolation, according to what we read in Matthew 24. So although I kind of understand the reasons why they say those two things, there are a couple, like I just mentioned, things that go against that doctrine. However, in Daniel 9, we read something, and if I'm not mistaken, that is also, well, yeah, that is also recorded, so I also explain it there. But in Daniel 10, verse 13 says, "But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days, and behold, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, for I had been left alone there with the kings of Persia." So here in this chapter, the Messiah, before coming in the flesh, the Messiah appeared to Daniel while Michael was in heaven, pretty much restraining the prince that was to take over after Babylon. So here is saying, "But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me for 21 days. And behold, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, for I had been left alone there with the kings of Persia." Now, when we go down to verse 20, it says, "Then he said, 'Do you know why I have come to you? And now I must return to fight with the prince of Persia. And when I have gone forth, indeed the prince of Greece will come. But I will tell you,'" and this is the important verse, "'I will tell you what is noted in the scripture of truth. No one upholds me against these except Michael, your prince.'" So there is no other malach in the heavens upholding the Messiah, the truth, against the false entities, against the fallen angels, etc., other than Michael, the prince that is mentioned also in Daniel 12, that is to appear in the end times as one of the two witnesses of Revelation 11. So that would mean that the two witnesses appear, they preach, and when they are killed, or in other words, taken out of the way, then the Malach Mikael, who was restraining, will no longer restrain, so that the abomination of desolation will manifest on earth while the congregation is still on earth. But when the abomination appears, the congregation goes on what we call normally the second Exodus. So I hope that was clear. I'm just gonna leave it there because, yeah,